this meeting of the Southampton Town Board to order on this 12th day of November 2019. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could remain standing and join with me in a moment of silence as we keep in our thoughts and prayers all the brave men and women of uniform defending our freedoms at home and around the world, and in particular with gratitude toward our veterans, as yesterday was Veterans Day. Let's pause with them in mind. And also former President Jimmy Carter is undergoing brain surgery today too, so let's keep him in our prayers as well. Let's join together in silence. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Schneiderman.
Present.
Councilwoman Lofstad.
Here.
Councilwoman Scalera.
Here.
Councilman Bouvier.
Here.
Councilman Schiavone.
Here.
All right, so what I'd like to do before we go to the agenda is to recognize a young woman who is with us today. Her name is Keely Lennon. She's a 2018 graduate, is a recent graduate of Hampton Bays High School. She has been honored by the Health and Welfare Council of Long Island. She's worked with her school to show her classmates that addiction is a disease. Growing up around addiction and the loss of her father in 2018 from alcoholism and drug addiction, Keely turned her life experience into good by developing programs, creating presentations, and sharing her story to help people understand that they are not alone and there is help if needed. Keely is also joined today by Rebecca Sannon, the CEO of the Health and Welfare Council of Long Island. For over 70 years, the organization has been addressing issues such as poverty, food insecurity, disaster recovery, and economic stability for Long Island's most vulnerable residents and underserved communities. And I have a proclamation here, so why don't I go up? Keely, do you want to come on up? Maybe I'll read a little bit of this. Having grown up around addiction, Keely coped with her father's struggles and February 2018 death by enjoying music, sharing her story, and helping others. By making a presentation about the nature of addiction and offering ways to stop the stigma, she was able to find closure and assist others who were also going through the same thing as she was. In the late winter and early spring of 2018, Keely began sharing these presentations with her school's health classes. Her primary objective was to illustrate to her classmates that if they were dealing with addiction, they were not alone and that there is help out there for them. She was motivated by the hope that at least one person could be saved by her efforts. Deep down, her convictions told her that if she could help even one person, she would be happy. And whereas committed to this goal, now and in the future, Keely's service has been recognized and amplified by volunteers and professionals alike. On October 24th, the Health and Welfare Council of Long Island held its third annual Halloween ball at the mansion at Oyster Bay. Their mission was to raise money in support of critical programs available to Long Island's most vulnerable residents and underserved communities. At the height of the evening's revelry, the organization chose to honor Keely with celebratory festivities, recognizing her as one of the guests of honor. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southampton hereby joins with an appreciative community in offering this proclamation to Keely Lennon. Anybody else want to say anything?
Well, I'll say a quick something. I've known Keely for a long time. I was a PAL coach, and she was one of my little cheerleaders, and to see her go through the struggles she went through and come out doing something like this, I think it's really awesome. And good to you and good on you, Jessica. Thanks.
Rebecca, did you want to say anything?
Sure, absolutely.
Can you,
Why don't you
Rebecca,
come
just
up
for
to
our
the-
recording purposes, bring it up.
So we honor children in my organization because we believe we need to raise up stewards of social justice, and that's our responsibility. So Keeley was one of two 2019 honorees as a steward of social justice, and believe me, it's a competitive process. Lots of kids, lots of people submit applications for kids who are doing incredible things. I think we all in our lives go through difficult times that we have to overcome, and that speaks to our resiliency. But when somebody's resiliency, when somebody's struggle actually becomes the opportunity to catalyze community engagement and to serve others, that is a very unique and very special moment in a person's life and something that needs to be recognized. Children are often recognized for their academic accomplishments or their sports accomplishments, but when a student takes personal pain and turns it into action to make sure nobody else suffers, that is leadership. And so we are so proud of Keeley. It's such a pleasure to see you be honored by the town. I commend the town for recognizing you because, you know, this town has clearly nurtured an extraordinary Southampton resident. And so it's my privilege to be here, and I thank you all.
You know, Keeley, I just wanted to say something as well. Paula Godfrey is here, and Julie, who speak so highly of you, and a whole town that speaks so highly of you and what you've gone through and how I just can't imagine. I think a lot of people can't, and how you take something and turn that into something positive for others, that you're doing something really great, and I just wanted to thank you personally for what you've done. Thank you. You're welcome.
Are you going in college, or where do you go?
I go to Southampton.
Great, great program there. Well, keep doing what you're doing. Keep up the work. You're making a difference. Can we get a picture of the whole town board with Keeley? Would that be okay? I know it's cramped quarters. Maybe we can come out front. Greg, will you take the picture? Rebecca, can you join us too? Didn't right in front. Oh yeah. Your mom is here too?
Come on.
You have to stand far enough back. We have to open up that wall.
I got you.
Beautiful. One more over here. Go ahead, Paul. Got it? All right. One more round of applause for Keeley. So yeah, you guys don't have to stay unless you're bored and want to watch the town board meeting. Oh, sorry. You can sneak out.
Thank you.
All right. I want to recognize.
Thank you.
Bye, Jeff.
I want to recognize somebody else who's also came out today, Sirius Barrios, who has been working with Renaissance Downtown, but in particular has been working with the Flanders Riverside Northampton community as a community organizer, and has been a familiar face to all of us and a familiar partner in advocating for the needs of the community, be it at the legislature, at the town, or state agencies. Sirius has really helped the community speak with one voice, reached out and given voice to many people who didn't really have a voice. So we're going to miss you. I know that you're on your way to Ecuador, right, to be a dragon fruit tycoon. So,
Keep saying that.
so entrepreneur. It's like really exciting. Dragon fruit is this like growing produce item that I guess people use in health food. What are those bowls? The
Acai bowl.
I can't even say
Acai.
that. Acai. And your family is in that business, right? And it's growing, and they need help, and they've picked a really good person to come back and assist them. But they're going to be the beneficiaries, and we're going to miss you. Their gain is our loss. But I hope you come back and you visit and you watch that area continue to grow, and know that that growth is a direct product of some of the groundwork that you laid here in the Flanders Riverside, Northampton
Can I
area.
just-
Yeah.
I just want to add to that because, I mean, I started with you, we started that project like, I don't know, 6 years ago, 7 years, and you were an absolute key component to even getting this off the ground. If it were not for all of the legwork, literally, that you did walking house to house to house to house to get all the community on board, give out information, without you, this would never have happened. There would have been no revitalization of Riverside Renaissance. It would not have happened. So I'm very grateful for everything that you did. You are very much going to be missed, and while you've trained Angela and she's ready, I'm sure, to take the helm in a very positive way, you are remarkable and your efforts will be missed.
I'd like to echo that, Siri. I'm going to really miss you because your presence in the room on virtually every project has been something to look forward to and something to behold. Your will and determination, and I think you've served your community so well. I know you're going to be missed by everyone in Flanders, and certainly everyone that you've come in contact will miss you. I know I will. I hope your business brings you back here to the United States at times, and we can catch up on what you're doing, so don't be a stranger. And thank you for everything you've done in service to your community. Thank you.
Series, just before we end here, I just wanted to thank you as well. I've known you for many, many years. I appreciate your level-headedness, your clarity, your drive for your community. They certainly have benefited from your presence and your work there. So thank you, and good luck in the future. I really wish you all the best.
Ditto.
I heard stories about that meeting in, I guess, Riverside area when it probably was at Crohan Center, when they passed the new zoning tools for that area, and
The wrap.
I heard it was, the entire room supported it. There was a standing ovation and applause, and that didn't happen by accident.
Phillips Elementary.
Oh, Phillips Elementary, that's where it was?
Wow.
That's right.
It's sort of legendary because normally when we talk about changing zones and it's often contentious, but to have a room full of people applauding is really something, and that's a testament to all the work that you did there. And I know when I was at the legislature and they tried to push back the money for the Riverside roundabout, millions of dollars, and I needed to get it moved back in. You came up there and you made a very impassioned plea to my colleagues, and it helped me get that money back and get that project back on track. So personally thankful for your advocacy, very powerful advocacy. And Flanders, Riverside, I think you can always call it home, so second home. All right, let's go to the agenda. Let me start by making a motion to approve the minutes of the regular town board meeting of October 22nd, 2019.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Madam Clerk, would you read the communications?
Certainly. The following communications have been received in the office of the town clerk. We have received public notices from the Department of the Army, letter of coordination for Wheaton Way in Watermill, Town of East Hampton, notice of public hearing, Town of Riverhead, notice of adoption, and Town of Southampton, public hearing notice on Marine 3 District. Village of Sagaponack, notice of adoption for gates and gate posts. Town fire districts adopted 2020 fire district budgets have been received from Eastport, East Quogue, Hampton Bays, North Sea, Riverhead, and Southampton fire districts. We have received letters, emails, and land use applications regarding the following: property acquisition by eminent domain in Flanders, resignation of Landmarks and Historic Districts Board member, Conservation Board adjoining neighbor notification for location at Canoe Place Road, Hampton Bays, Zoning Board of Appeals adjoining neighbor notification on Sagamore Road, Hampton Bays. Following bid opening took place for the printing and mailing of Hampton Bays Water District bills on November 6th. Following reports were filed from the Landmarks and Historic District Board. We received a certificate of appropriateness for the Big Duck Ranch and the Thomas Dunbar residence, both in Flanders. From the town clerk's office, Agro Industries Superfund Site Groundwater Status Report for June, July, and August of 2019, and from the Town Comptroller, the October 2019 monthly financial reports. And that concludes the communications for this meeting's agenda.
Okay, thank you, Susan. All right, so we're gonna move on to public hearings. There's 10 of them, though I think they will go fairly quickly. So, Madam Clerk, would you read the first public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 1, on the acquisition of lands of Bridgehampton Road Races Corporation, Noyak, and amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
All right, Lisa Combrink, our CPF manager, is here to present this first possible acquisition.
Good afternoon, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, Madam Clerk. The first property for consideration today is owned by Bridgehampton Road Races Corp. It's located at 1244 Millstone Road in Noyak. You can see it on the aerial here on the board. It's this parcel. The tax map number is 922-2-3. It's 2.2 acres. It's a flag lot. Flag lot bordering on Millstone Road, although the majority of the property fronts on Ruggs Path. It's in the CR 200 zoning district, also in the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone. It's in the CPF project plan in the Eastern GIS Great Swamp Open Space Target Area. It would provide a buffer to an existing trail, although not trail linkage, but it would provide a buffer. It is adjacent to other town-owned properties. You can see those areas marked in green. This and also this, which is on Ruggs Path, and these properties. So it would be a nice addition to our open space holdings. The purchase price is $500,000. And the attorney for the applicant is, for the owner, is here today, Karen Pape. Just wanted to acknowledge her.
The yield is one house, right? It's about a 2-acre lot and a
Correct.
5-acre zone.
That's
Okay.
correct, yes. Have any other questions on that?
No, just a
Property?
comment. It is on the moraine, and I believe this is a deep water recharge area as well.
Yes. Is it an APOD
Yes.
parcel?
Mhm.
It looks like there's some access off of Ruggs Path up to one of the houses up there. Is that driveway or walking path?
This looks like a
No,
No,
down
Oh,
in the
you're
middle of
talking
the,
Oh,
yep, yeah.
Right. Well, when we get the title report, we'll see whether there's an easement that allows access to that property.
Well, wouldn't that have been factored into the appraisal?
It should be, yes. I don't have the appraisal with me, but it would be if there's, they always look at any covenants or easements of record.
Okay, any other questions? Is that 500,000, is that well, maybe I can't ask this question, is that below market?
Yes,
It is below market.
yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Is
Thank you.
anyone from the audience who wishes to be heard on this possible acquisition? All right, seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that's closed. Madam Clerk, the second public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 2, on the acquisition of lands of Mahoney, Tuckahoe, and amend the Community Preservation Project Plan and the CPF Management and Stewardship Plan to include properties.
All right, and once again, Lisa Combrink, our CPF manager, will introduce this.
Thank you. This property is owned by Maureen Mahoney. It's 2 lots located at 441 North McGee Street in Tuckahoe. Both lots together are approximately 0.64 acres. Suffolk County Tax Map numbers 900, 110, 3, 22.1, and 22.2. They are in the Wetlands Preservation Target Area. And there are also adjacent holdings for those properties. Here you can see a little tiny corner triangle here, and then the rest of the lot is here. This property is owned by the town, this is owned by Peconic Land Trust, this is owned by Peconic Land Trust as well. So there's significant open space preserved areas in the immediate vicinity of the property. And the purchase price is $125,000.
What's the zoning and the acreage?
The acreage is 0.64.
The zoning.
I
it's
don't
a
have the
separate
zoning with
form.
me, I'm sorry. Don't have that with me.
Oh, okay. It's 125.
These two properties are almost
Is it a,
both entirely wetlands.
is it
Yeah.
considered a developable lot though for a single-family home?
I would say it would be very difficult because of the wetlands constraints.
The purchase price is 125,000.
125, yes. So it's a little over a half an acre for 125,000,
But is it a developable half acre? Possibly.
possibly. Probably would require a significant number of variances and,
Are you gonna lift development rights or a fraction thereof off it?
yes. Yep, that's, the development right calculation would be included in your resolution
Yeah.
if you
So it
approve
has
the
a full
purchase.
development
Does
right.
it say?
Fraction, might be a
fraction.
No, it might be full.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Lisa. Anyone else, anyone from the public who wants to be heard on this possible acquisition? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that's closed. We'll move on to the third public hearing. Madam
Public
Clerk?
hearing number 3 on the acquisition of lands of Rayner Estate, West Hampton, and amend the Community Preservation Project Plan and the CPF Management and Stewardship Plan to include properties.
All right, Lisa?
Thank you. The next property is located in West Hampton. It's owned by, it's in the Rayner Estate. There's two lots located at 131 South Road and also 4 Beaver Dam Road. Suffolk County Tax Map numbers 900 376 1-35.3 and 79.1. This is in the R40 zoning district. The purchase price is $400,000. It fronts on the creek, and as you can see from the aerial, there are some structures on one of the lots, and there is a wood walkway. You can see this is the Rayner Boathouse, and then there's a wood walkway here.
So, just a question on this.
Yes.
Because I know that the Landmarks Board had opined on this as an historic structure.
They did. I received that correspondence, it's dated yesterday, from the Landmarks and Historic District Board, which recognize this historic significance of the boathouse to the community and recommend that the structure not be demolished. There's also a several-page report on the structure. And I also received correspondence from Julie Green, our town historian, today, also recommending that the structure remain and that it be preserved as a significant historic resource in the community.
Yeah, it's a significant icon in the area as well, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Lisa.
The authorizing resolution, though, should reference historic preservation as part of the reason why we're acquiring it, so that we would then be able to fund any restoration of the boathouse.
Correct. We may need to amend that resolution if you want to hold it over till the next meeting or
Now,
amend it
The
today.
general purpose of this, is it recreational? Is this to create an additional slips along the water there? Would this be used for boating?
I don't know that that's been determined
Well, we own
as
that
of
marina
yet.
just below it, right?
We do, and we're also in the process of hopefully acquiring this parcel.
Is that a
So-
road right away, that one in between, or is that
No,
an?
this is a separate residential lot, yes.
Doesn't look developable, but
It's pretty skinny.
it's very
Yeah.
skinny. So it could all be part of one park then, right?
Could be,
Um,
yeah. This,
So our intention would be then to keep that dock structure as well, and the bulkheaded areas?
I think we would. I wouldn't see any reason to demolish that because it is connected with the boathouse structure.
You might need the boathouse as an office building, so where Parks could set up something if they needed to.
Right.
Keep equipment.
And what kind of shape is the dock in? Is it going to need repairs immediately?
The environmental inspection that our department did not note any repairs needed, but of course, we would, if the property was going to be landmarked and that was part of the structure, we would take a look at that in more detail to see if any work was required.
I would also want any revenue from the boat slips to be held in an account specifically toward maintaining the structures here,
Right, keeping the property, yes.
so that it's not a cost to taxpayers. Because it's expensive maintaining these
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
types of structures.
Well, hopefully there's a steward interested in a stewardship on this, so, there's more to talk about. If we can, I'd like to know about making an offer or how we would acquire that small piece in between to make it all one park system.
Right, the piece in between, the narrow piece, is currently being appraised along with several other pieces
Right.
that are in the same family.
Perfect.
Not the Rayner family, but another, I can't remember now, but another family that owns significant holdings in that area.
But we have that parking area that could be used, somebody could walk along the road
Yeah.
to get to a boat, that's on one of those other
Mhm.
pieces without crossing through the private property. All right, any other questions?
No, it's a really beautiful piece of property.
Yeah.
And it's for the two lots, it was
It's for the
400?
2 lots, 500 for the 2
500?
lots, yes.
500?
Yes, for both lots together. And the contract provides that the family could maintain the marina and continue to operate it until closing, and then we would work out the details after that.
Mhm. So is it two developable lots then? Looks like it may
Well, it's
be.
in the R40 zoning district, so one lot, they're both undersized, they're both just
Are they
0.2
single and
acres.
separate?
Yes, they are.
They are, so
Yeah.
there could be two developable lots then.
Right.
If they're not merged as a matter of zoning. They're owned by different entities. All right. Anyone from the public who wishes to be heard, sir? Come on up.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Peter Marks. The estate in question belonged to my grandparents, so I have a vested interest in speaking with you today. I'm here on behalf of myself and other family members who were unable to be here, just to speak on the significance of this property, as you've already discussed. The land was acquired by the family May 1st, 1712. It has been owned continuously by the Rayner family ever since. Numerous men and women have made their livelihoods from this land. They have raised their families here, taught them to fish, swim, and sail from this land. For over 300 years, they have witnessed a revolution, a civil war, a Great Depression, and 2 world wars from this property. 12 generations have seen Southampton town, and the West Hampton area grow. While things on this land have generally, for the most part, remained unchanged. It has a dock, a small fish house, and exists primarily as a living snapshot of what West Hampton used to be and where it came from. The existing building itself, originally built sometime prior to 1891, was reduced in size to its present form after the 1938 hurricane, when it was reframed and rebuilt. It is believed by our family to be the last remaining structure of its kind in the area, likely to be the last remaining structure of its kind west of the canal. For 307 years, our family has cared for this property, and it has cared for us. We ask that the town be good stewards of this property, cherish its unique history and heritage, and hope that all residents are able to enjoy it in the future for what it is and always has been, a glimpse of our past and where we came from. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Peter, there are members of the Rayners family that goes back to the War of 1812 as well. I've seen lists from Suffolk County, eastern Suffolk County. Thank you.
I just wanted to add, and thank you very much, we do have a resolution approving the acquisition on the agenda for today. I don't know whether it needs to be amended to reference the historic value of the property.
I think
So-
it should,
So we could,
because otherwise you get into these battles about whether buildings should be demolished. If it says right on it that it
Right.
contains a historic structure.
revise the resolution, since we just got this information since yesterday, and put it on for the next meeting in 2
We could do it on the
weeks.
floor today, too.
Okay.
Maybe just come up with a whereas.
Okay.
Stick it in there,
Okay, that's fine.
because it's not coming up for a while.
Okay, so then I could, once
Yeah, why
you
don't
call
you-
the resolution, I can,
And then you could just literally read it off to me.
Okay.
And the language, we'll amend it to insert the language.
okay,
It's
all
on
right.
page 36
Yep.
of the agenda.
Thank you.
If you need a
Just
packet,
scribble
there's one
something
over
on a
here
piece of
that's-
paper once we get through your public hearings. All right, anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard on this? All right, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, all right, Madam Clerk, the fourth public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 4, to consider the transfer of lands from Suffolk County, North Sea, and amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include said property.
All right, Lisa?
Okay, just want to make sure I have the right property. This is a property that was offered to the town by Suffolk County. It is scrub property located at Suffolk County Tax Map number 964-1-121. It's a teeny parcel. It's .18 acres. It's surrounded entirely by properties purchased by a community preservation fund over the years. It's also in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District and in the South Fork Special Groundwater Protection Area. The purchase price, or the price to acquire this from the county to have it transferred to the town, is $212.
That's back taxes.
Yes,
Any development rights intact on it, or no?
negative.
Okay. So this is this a 72H?
It's a 72H, yes. The next,
The county understands that it'll be used for open space purposes? Is that?
well, yeah,
They reached out to us.
does
they
some
did,
kind
and we've been in touch with
of-
them,
does some
and
of them contain reverters that you have to use it for certain, affordable
No.
housing?
Yeah, no, it's-
If I'm looking
This
at the
has no
right,
development rights on
well,
it.
it has .01. If you look at the resolution says it has .01 development rights.
Point
Oh, 01,
development
okay.
rights, okay.
Point oh one
So it's,
fraction.
It's the right one.
It's not the first one in the packet, it's the second one. It's a.
121 is the
121.
lot number.
So it's 1103.
It's resolution 1103.
.04.
It's 4 times as many as you said.
It is. Look at that.
.04, not .01. Okay,
The first one's
all right. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard? So this basically the county would be accepting the gift, the transfer to the county. Okay, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Madam Clerk, the 5th public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 5, to consider the transfer of lands from Suffolk County, North Sea, and amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include said property.
All right, this is very similar to the last one. but-
It is very similar. This is also scrub property located in North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map number 978.2-2-18, 0.05 acres, zone CR 200, surrounded in its entirety by town-owned lands, and it's $170.21 for this parcel.
Deal.
How much?
These are outside 72.
$170 and 21 cents.
Cents, correct.
They couldn't waive the 21
I
cents.
know.
Outside of 72.
Transfer.
this is the parcel that has the Palmanock Trail connection. Was that, am I right?
Not that I know of.
I don't know, this doesn't
This
say.
is- what
This
kind
is,
None of them.
These are, can I just ask, in,
Yes,
Yes,
John,
it
it says
is.
it in the resolution.
oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
so does the lands around it, are they in county control or town control?
Hold on one second and I'll tell you. Let me just make sure I have my right sheet here. They're all town-owned lands,
Okay,
yes,
so
on all sides.
you wouldn't really wanna have a sliver of county-owned property in the middle of a town-owned broad section of woodlands. Okay,
Lisa, is there a reason that none of these reference 72H? Are they being done outside of that as just a donation by the county for open space purposes, or are they 72H transfers?
They're all 72H
They are?
transfers, yeah. All right, so next time we'll make sure that that's included in the
Yeah, just
resolution.
the
Okay.
designation's different.
any other questions? To the public, anyone wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scalero, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Madam Clerk, the fifth public hearing notice? Or is it? it's
Public
a-
hearing number 6, to
Six.
consider the transfer of lands from Suffolk County North Sea and amend the CPF Management Stewardship Plan to include said property.
Yeah, sixth hearing notice, thank you. Lisa?
The third property is also located in North Sea. It's scrub property, Suffolk County Tax Map number 979-1-15 at 0.09 acres. This is surrounded on the south, east, and west by CPF purchased properties, and on the north by Suffolk County property. It's in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District and also in the Suffolk County Groundwater Protection area, also a 72H property. And the purchase price for this to be transferred to the town is $185.56.
Any development rights on this one?
I don't have my sheet with me, sorry.
Let's see.
With the,
It's all right, I mean,
How much is it?
I don't see anything.
185. All right, it's not important.
It's also zone CR 200.
Any,
I'm sure it's similar.
Yeah, and it's also, again, part of that linkage for the Palmer.
There aren't any.
all right, yeah, it's assumed that
trail,
there
I'm sorry
aren't
about
any,
that.
so.
We
we're
call it
just
path also.
Basically getting management control of it for less than $200.
Right, all CPF properties around it.
All right, any other questions? All right, anyone from the public? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
Second?
Second by Councilman Scalero, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that is closed. Madam Clerk, the seventh public hearing notice?
Public hearing number 7, to consider the transfer of lands from Suffolk County Riverside and amend the CPF Management Stewardship Plan to include said property.
All right, Elisa Conklin.
Thank you. This is the last 72H property. This is a landlocked parcel located in Riverside, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-118-1-1-15.1, zoned R40. It's right here.
How do you describe that as landlocked? It's right on the street.
Well, it's not on a public street, it's actually within the mobile home park. It's adjacent to the mobile
Oh,
home
it's
park.
private property there.
Right.
It looks like a street. It's not a
It,
street.
it does, but
There
it's,
are cars.
Yes, but it's.
it's also,
Private property. It's a,
yeah,
Interior private.
interior private.
Yeah.
property.
it's adjacent to 15 acres CPF parcel. This parcel here. And it's zoned R80. And the price for this, a little bit higher, $6,823.75 to transfer the property from the town, to the town, from the county.
Can I ask, is this, so since we're not paying anything but back taxes, but or would we be precluded from doing a water quality project on something like this? I mean, that trailer park probably, well, one day it'll, I guess we'll or mobile home facility, they don't like to be called trailer parks.
It
One-
is
one
in.
they would like to,
Mm.
would probably hook up to the sewer district, right? When we have a sewer district, it's an ideal candidate to be on sewage treatment, that probably could not be used though, the property.
No,
Not if you purchase it this way. You have to change
Right.
the purchase.
The one with the Conic River, it's the park.
You can change it.
Well,
I guess that's-
Yeah, it's saying
I think it went
part
through
of Conic
review.
well,
Estuary.
it's on we could change it so that our funding sources is CPF water quality.
we
Right.
could, and it is within the WQI high priority
I'm more
area.
concerned though that the county will attach
Mhm.
language on the transfer that will prohibit
Mm.
a
Yeah, we
water
could talk
quality
about that.
project. We could talk to the county.
Yeah.
Do you want to hold that one
I mean,
over?
it's too small, I guess, to do much there.
It's
How many
Right.
it's 0.14 acres.
Actually, in the
It's
area
probably-
where we're hopefully we're gonna be building our own STP or with our master developer, so. We're gonna take all this off of the.
What's the
Mm.
size of the mobile home park, do you know?
I don't know.
Like, it's small.
Which one is that? This is the one off at 24, I think?
Yeah.
Or is it the one off of-
Mm.
community view and then there's the Conic view. I think that's
But it's the cost of getting the infrastructure there that's.
Is it wooded, Carly, or is it,
No, it's disturbed. There is some dumping on it, which will have to be cleaned up by CPF.
And it looks like there might be a fence on it too. Is that what that shadow is there? Part of that fence? Yeah.
Anything like that will be addressed
be
after
used-
closing by the town.
I guess it adds to the open space. I just wonder if it could be used for like a playground or something like that.
Well, we
See
could,
what the conditions are.
right, we can look into that.
The real estate office, Chris Mundy from the real estate, he's the one who reached out to us on this, so.
All right,
We'll get back to him on that.
okay.
I mean, the funding source, well, CPF wouldn't preclude a playground if it was purchased as a recreational.
No, it wouldn't.
We'd have to decide. It's a lot, how much money? It's not a lot of money. It's cheap.
$6,823.75.
I mean, it might be a nice little pocket park.
Mhm.
It probably wouldn't be used by anybody but the mobile home facility,
Right,
but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people who live back there.
right.
Might be a nice place to set up a gazebo or some park benches, picnic tables, that kind of thing. All right, any other questions? That would be just my one consideration is how the funds we use to acquire it, the authorizing resolution, to
Right,
keep our options open.
right, okay.
All right, anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this?
So are we adjourning or closing, depending on whether we're doing water quality or something else?
I think it at least should go through the Water Quality Board just for a quick review. If you can
Okay.
present it, just to be sure that we're in alignment with what's happening in Riverside.
I would say close it though, so that, because we have all these properties that are going through the same process with the county, they can all sort of go through together.
As long as it gets reviewed, I don't really care about the process, but I think the Water Quality Board should take a look
I
at
think
We
can
have a
close the
meeting a week
hearing.
from Friday, so that would give us time.
it. So we could
To
close
review
it
it.
and then with the
And-
comment
and-
period.
and
Okay.
If
we-
you have those assurances, that would be.
All right.
And we could authorize it in the broadest possible way.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so I'll make a motion to close,
Second?
seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Madam Clerk, the 8th public hearing.
Public hearing number 8 for the 2020 fire protection contracts.
Is there anyone wishing to be heard on this?
I'd like to say a few words.
All right, Councilman Esquivel.
In the town of Southampton, and most towns in New York State, we get our fire protection through fire districts, and those are separate municipalities. What we're looking at here are what are called fire protection districts, and these are areas in unincorporated Southampton town that have not established their own fire district. They're generally contiguous to a village, and they get their fire coverage from the village. So we act as the commissioners as those fire districts. We have 3 of them, the Noyak Fire Protection District, Bay Point Fire Protection District, and Northeast Quogue Fire Protection Districts. I get a lot of questions about this as the liaison for the first responders and the fire departments, and it can be somewhat convoluted. So I just wanted to kind of take the opportunity to explain that a little bit. And everyone, please know, if you are in a fire districts have their own separately elected representatives and their own government and their own budgets. These are fire protection districts that go through the villages.
So we are the commissioners for these.
Right. I know, it's exciting stuff.
All right, is there anyone who wishes to be heard other than Councilman Skibon? All right. I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Tommy John, for that explanation. Madam Clerk, the 9th public hearing.
Public hearing number 9, to consider any increases proposed in the maximum amount to be expended annually in the town of Southampton special districts.
Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this public hearing? On special districts? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Closed. Madam Clerk, the 10th public hearing.
Public hearing number 10 on the 2020 preliminary budget.
Okay, is there anyone who wishes to be heard on the 2020 preliminary budget? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we move on to public portion. Oh, you know, I have these cards here that we did this individually. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, there's 4 cards for public portion. We start with Sirius Barrios. Before you start speaking, so each speaker is afforded 3 minutes to make their comments known, and the clerk will let you know when you're down to your last 30 seconds. But you're familiar with our processes.
I'll speak very fast. First, I want to take the moment, given that you guys are speaking to about Resolution 1076, which is for the authorization of CDBG money, just to thank you, because I know through that funding you'll be supporting a lot of the great projects that are happening in the Riverside area, like the Waterfront Park, CME, Sapa Mujer. I know it's here today to speak on that, and I just want to take part of the 3 minutes to thank you for just being great advocates on behalf of Riverside, the Flanders Northampton community, for these past few years, some more than others, in terms of being on the board. And it's been a wonderful experience for me coming from California and being able to work with such diverse community, like I said many times, in terms of politics, ideology, and just being able to come together as a community as one has been such a life lesson for me, in being able to work with just such diversity and being able to work so closely with Town Hall as well. You don't get that in the city of Los Angeles. You know, you don't get a hug from the supervisor. So anyways, I wanted to just take that time to really thank you for these last 5 years. I am going to be keeping my house here in Hampton Bay, so I will be coming in the summers to visit. And we do have 52 acres of yellow dragon fruit, and we're exporting and importing it, so I will be coming regularly to see you. And I've told Vince, as I told Renaissance, that I plan to stay involved virtually with the project in whichever form I can. But I really just wanted to take the time to say thank you. And really want to highlight Angela. Angela came in, I think, on my second day at the office. She read an article in the Southampton Press and was ready. She was the first one with her mother to go door knocking with me on Flanders Road and some of those dilapidated buildings, to go on Pine and Oak Walk Road streets where people were not volunteering to go door knocking with me. She went door knocking with me, and she's just been such an advocate. And I mean, you guys are in great hands. So I just really want to highlight her leadership, her growth, because this is what our office is about, right? Social impact. And so I want to just really highlight her growth in this period. And I also want to highlight just one more person that ties back to the CDBG money. I can highlight a lot of the leaders in Sapa Mujer, but there's a woman named Francisca Garcia, who just became a citizen like 3 months, like a month ago. And she came in to the first meeting that we had around the Riverside Revitalization Project. And then she got about what's up on my head. And I was like, you need to go take your citizenship test. She's like, I'm scared. And she finally did it, and she accomplished it a month ago. So these are two stories of women from this community, from the Riverside Flanders community that perhaps are never been in the same room, but they were, and who have just grown tremendously through the work that we've been able to do in this community. So I just want to thank you, because you're part of all that effort, and the CDBG money continues to support the growth of women like Angela, as well as women like Francisca, and just thank you so much for just all your wonderful leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Vince.
Good luck in all your endeavors.
And thank you, Diana.
Okay, next up is Vince Taldone.
Okay, good afternoon, Supervisor, members of the board. First, congratulations for the gentlemen who've succeeded in their re-election to our board. We'll all be working together for a while longer. We've reached a pretty critical point in Riverside, largely because of the work, the footwork, the communication skills of Ceres Barrios. I don't know how we would have done it without her, because we have segments of the community which were very hard to reach. For my community association, we'd been trying for years, but I learned early on that no one says no to Ceres when she's at the door, or she just comes back again. So she was able to reach people that we hadn't really gotten to before, and that's important in the redevelopment process, because we got their opinions on what they needed, what they wanted to see in this community as it gets redeveloped. The developer then incorporated that in the plan. So when we had that wonderful meeting at Phillips Avenue School, I was beside myself after decades of working for New York City in its acquisitions and dispositions division at the real estate agency. I had never seen a crowd of the public cheering a redevelopment or rezoning plan ever in my life. It had never happened. There were torches, there were pitchforks, there was everything but support. But because the people had been part of the planning, knew what it was, they came out and they said, yes, we do want it. And it was a very proud moment for me to see a planning exercise that actually reached all the people who live in the place that's going to be dramatically changed by the redevelopment. So I thank Ceres. Ecuador is not far enough away. We will still reach out to you. There's no escape from us. And we know where your house is in Hampton Bays. So, and we do love dragon fruit, so I hope you do become the empress of dragon fruit. Also, quickly on my list, I would like to reiterate or support what Ceres just said about the CDBG projects. There are several there that we've been looking to move forward in terms of parks, recreation, children's services with the money for CME, which is important, but money to start making parks accessible and usable for the communities that are there. That's an amenity to the redevelopment. Even though some of this is in Flanders, a little bit further away, we're talking about parks throughout that community, which will be growing with the redevelopment. And so that's a priority of Franca, and I thank you for supporting that with these budget items. Lastly, I just wanted to mention the correspondence from Franca regarding the sewer district parcels is not in Flanders. It's, of course, in Riverside. I think that was just a typo somewhere, but the letter, of course, does reference the correct properties. And, of course, it was a long letter to begin with, so I didn't go into any detail about which portions are needed for sewer district or not. And that, I hope this town board with the developer will have these discussions with our town attorney on how to move forward with this. I certainly will not, make any comments about that acquisition. It is something that should be done in private. And I hope that can be speeded up, because we have lost 7 months since we started. And I don't want to say we lost 7 months, but 7 months later, we're still in the same place we were when we first reached out to the owners of that property. So we need to consider alternatives, even less desirable ones, such as eminent domain, if that's what's needed to do the environmental work, which is a large part of what brought people out. That promise that after redevelopment, the amount of pollution heading out from Riverside into our bay, into our groundwaters, will be dramatically less than if we did nothing at all. And that was a promise that I look forward to seeing fulfilled. And hopefully, if there isn't an alternative property that can be acquired voluntarily, that I hope this board will consider eminent domain, of course, as a last resort. But it is an environmental need for us. It is not strictly to help a development happen. We would want that sewer district, and we want that pollution ending no matter what. And the government, federal government's not giving money away to do this anymore, so we don't know how else to accomplish it, but through the redevelopment and the higher density in that core area. That's what we'll pay, and I'll just, that one point, that is what we'll pay to hook up all the single-family homes for free. And those homes will otherwise not be sewered for the foreseeable future. So I think it's a critically important move for every reason, socially, economically, tax base, but primarily and most importantly, to save the waterways that, as you know, just recently, the scallop die-off. I mean, it's just one factor in many, but we've been seeing brown tides. There's just so much leaching out into that water, and the only way to control it is with a sewage system. And I don't know where else it could be built if not here. So I don't want to hog up too much of your time, but I thank you.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Those properties that you said may be needed for sewage treatment, recharge, have
Right.
you brought you said you reached out. I wasn't sure who you were. Is that Franca reached out?
Well,
or-
yes, as the president of Franca.
So the
I'm the
governors-
third. I mean, the developer has, I believe the town attorney has sent a communication or two to the owners, which is an estate. And because it is in our area, we know everyone and everyone's connected, so.
Has Lisa, have you been made aware of these 3 properties that they're desiring possible acquisition of? So that we could contact the owners through our CPF water quality program?
I think Kyle's.
Yeah, I think
Kyle
Kyle's
knows.
been the lead, but they haven't responded, so we couldn't actually then move to that level of conversation.
The owner hasn't responded.
Right. I mean, they respond to say, yes, thank you, I've received your communication. And the reason I reached out is because one of my members is the aunt of one of the heirs to the estate. So we twisted her arm from Florida and got her to make the call, which was the second time she had called. And all that she could confirm is that they're aware of the town's interest. And then there's silence. So that's been 7 months.
I think for the matter of the record, that you should transmit that address, that information to the CPF.
Yeah, we
office.
have some.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
I could actually just send over a copy. And again, the land that's outlined is the full property that's there. Not all of it is needed for the outflow, for the sewage. Treated water theoretically clean enough to drink, will be put back into the ground in a recharge area instead of what is there now, which is, mile-high dredge spoils from decades and decades ago with who knows what in it. That's not primarily the developable portion of the property. And if the town could get into a conversation with the owners, they could figure out what the owners' interests are, what do they want to keep, what do they need, what are they hoping for, but we get nothing back. And when I say we, I mean all of us, because the community association angle didn't work, the family didn't work, the town attorney's office hasn't gotten through to them, and the master developer hasn't been able to get through to them, so I just don't know what else to do.
I have not had a conversation with Kyle. I need to know the technical needs of this sewer district in terms of how much square footage, acreage of recharge area are needed based on, I don't know what the design of the sewer treatment plant is yet.
And that is the biggest problem, because
And
without the
then-
owner saying, yes, you can go onto the property, they can't actually flag it out to figure it out.
We may already have adequate areas for recharge. I haven't had that conversation.
Okay, I
So
hope you'll be able to do that as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's not the cart before the horse, so the design of the system and its distribution is critical to determining
Right.
that need.
Right, which is why some of the other parcels have kind of fallen out of favor, which are actually south of 24, for technical.
I mean, just to the supervisor's point, it's.
Yeah, so that
No,
conversation has to
could
happen
be-
with you, not with me, and then.
You may be absolutely right. I'm just saying that I have not been privy to that conversation. Nobody has advised me yet
Right.
that we need additional land for water recharge
Okay,
to
well,
make the sewage
I will
district
stress
work.
the communications need as best I can to land management. They are on this. There are sections also of properties on both sides that belong to the town that are also part of that sort of shoreline that's completely degraded. So not only is this a sewage treatment outflow parcel, it's also right next to all the other waterfront zones that we need to start addressing to improve the quality of the water in our bay and to protect our groundwater.
Is
So
the pieces that you're talking about close to the surface water?
yes, right at the edge of the river,
That may not
That
be
may not be-
the right place to recharge
and
that.
further back closer to Flanders Road. This is, you know, technical stuff beyond me. Yeah, the wetland restoration is intended to accept the water.
Surface runoff, but discharge from a sewage treatment plant is very, very different.
All right, I'm gonna reserve
Well,
further comment till I
sure.
talk to Kyle, so.
No, and I don't want to discuss the you know,
Okay.
the ownership issues myself. Sorry, I keep doing that. I'm Italian. I can't help
Making me-
myself.
Wakes me up though.
Thank you, thank you. And that's really about it.
All right, thank you, Vince.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vince.
All right, Juliana Lopez?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Juliana Lopez, and I live in Flanders. I'm member of the SEPA Mujer, and a joint organizer. We are here to say thank you for considering SEPA Mujer to receive a grant, which will be very important to continue education and supporting the Latino community and to development the skin to fully and participate in our community. I'm graduate from the civic engagement and leadership and training. I'm happy because I received the legal representation for SEPA Mujer, and I'm just become a permanent resident in this country, and I'm keeping me prepared and educating for myself in the near future to become a citizen. The organization like SEPA Mujer provide the space for become empowering women and Latinos community, informing and educate to succeed and give back to our community, all for Latinos community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last card I have is Martha Maffier.
Good afternoon. Member of the board and town supervisor. My name is Marta Maffi and the director of SEPA Mujer. I am here in support of the resolution 1076 for the CDBG funding. I want to thank you on behalf of the member of SEPA Mujer and residents of Southampton town for considering SEPA Mujer one of the recipients of the grant. We are extremely thankful of your support. The past year we have able to graduate more than 50 women just from the towns of Southampton, from the chapter of Hampton Bays and Riverside, Flanders. Supporting Latino organizations who work from the ground with the community, who help to facilitate spaces to participate and engage. Women that were graduating from the civic engagement and leadership training has volunteered in different community events, and now we are committed and ready to participate and contribute and ensure that everyone to be counted in the census 2020 in the Southampton town. So this is very important and crucial for us. It is also important to that everyone have access to various forms of participation so their voices can be heard and needs can be met. And I am so thankful that all of you supporting SEPA Mujer through the year and being listened like Juliana, Anelli, Francisca, as Ciris mentioned. So all these women have the desire to be and feel that they are part of the community, and you're making that a reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, that's the last card I have for public portion. Is there anyone else who wanted to be heard that did not fill out a card? Please identify yourself.
Hi, how are you? My name is Annalise San Juan. I'm from Bridgehampton. I am member of Sepa Mujer. I was here the last session to ask you all for your support to allocate for funding for Sepa Mujer, an organization that I belong and I believe funding to keep education the community about different issues, like for example the census to 2020. I'm graduate for the leadership training. That has helping to me tremendously. Now I can advocate for my son education, and I will be of the other kids. Now I feel empowered, and I feel that I got safe for the community. I take the first level on the training, and I am most that ready for be part of the second level. I found out that you are voting today on the CDB. I'm sorry, CDBG Support Sepa Mujer, and I am resident for the town of the Southampton. I am happy about the news, and I come here to thank you. I for believe on us and support us. For me to stand up here to talk to you, talk to me long way alone, and I won't be able to do it without Sepa Mujer helping and continue membership. And more time, thank you again. And for me, it's very difficult sometimes pronunciation, but I promise I learning more English. And I'm starting, for Sepa Mujer help me, and I started now the class for English and the GD classes. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right, anyone else who wishes to be heard? Going once, twice, 3 times. Okay, I'll make a motion to close public portion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we can take that one out of order. Everybody seems to have spoke on 1076 in the packet. So let me make a motion to take resolution 1076 of 2019 on page 10 out of order.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Diana, would you step forward in case we have any questions about this? So I'll make a motion to approve 1076 of 2019, authorizing the supervisor to sign a 2020 Community Development Block Grant Project Description Forms, the 2020. Same second. So Diana, first congratulations on getting such a large allocation. Was like $250,000?
Yes, sir.
$250,000. Yeah.
And we're going to keep pushing to make that more and more as we are able to give them more projects. I told them I could spend a few $1 million quite easily, and they were happy. And I will report that we met our spending limits. So all the stress that we were going through because they were going to take the money away, HUD has now come and said, yes, you're good to go, and the county is whole. So that means that we are guaranteed to keep getting these funds now.
We
It
used
was
to
great.
get, like around 100,000 when you first got
Well,
here?
when I first got here, it was 90, and the year
90,000.
before that, I think it was less, 0.
So you've,
So we're very excited, we're very happy.
you've gotten us like 160,000 additional. That's you've
Yes.
more than paid for yourself. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you very much, even though it goes to the community, but I appreciate
I knew you were a
it.
good hire. So.
But I appreciate it. As you can see, we're trying to spread the money around to different communities as well so that we can continue to develop our town projects and parks for our community to be able to use. So we're happy to see North Sea Park being included in here.
Now, is
And-
that SYS? Is that, well, that park where SYS is. It's
I'm not sure. It's,
I
it's.
think it is.
Yeah, but
I
it.
think it's where we have the bathrooms
bathrooms,
and the
yes.
bocce courts
Yes,
and things
yes.
like that. and the
So
soccer
I
fields
think
and-
that'll be a good addition. And some of these projects.
That's in an eligible area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do have small pockets of eligible areas, though really Riverside Flanders is our biggest. Sometimes when we ask for funding, it's difficult because Riverside is part of that wrap, and we want to make sure that whatever we do with our money is going to just enhance that or be able to do it the right way. So some things aren't ready to receive the funding that Flanders has asked for, but we know that it'll be an ongoing thing. I mean, they got the lion's share this time, and
So they're
probably
like
will. Flanders, Hampton Bays, East Quogue, a little piece of North Sea, a little piece of Bridgehampton, and a very tiny piece in Eastport. So, but they're not
Riverside,
large
obviously,
enough. But
North-
Riverside,
Northampton,
Flanders,
Northampton, that whole area.
yes, and Hampton
And this
Bays,
could be
East
used for
Quogue.
parks improvements and things like that?
Parks improvements, lighting districts, drainage, I mean, there's a slew of activities. And again, Councilwoman Lofstad asked for code enforcement to be added again, because that extra money can be used for overtime for patrolling those areas and maintaining quality of life issues. So thank you for that, and I know we wanted to make sure we tried to do that again.
So, let's go through this. So, Riverside Maritime Park, $70,000.
Yeah, that is a $3 million project under the wrap, and this is going to be used for the engineering and the really beginning planning stages, which is eligible under CDBG funding. So you will see this probably every year. We'll be putting money into some part of that project since it's over $3 million. But
Okay.
we wanted to get started in there. The bus shelters, we
So
had
that's
put
the next
in.
one, is Riverside Bus Shelters.
Yeah, we had put in
40,000.
last year for 2 bus shelters because the county had in the past offered to offset the cost of the bus shelters that we use on the East End, which are not subject to,
Graffiti.
what do they call it, graffiti, thank you. Vince was very involved in that. And it turned out the county said, nope, we're not going to help you anymore. So now we want to supplement what we did last year so that we can get that 1 bus shelter done on Flanders Road. And that will happen now. So thank you,
So now
Vince,
this
for
will be
that.
this 20,000 will go to the bus shelter that meets our design standards?
Yes, with the 20,000 from last year. So we're going to copy that together and be able to spend that now and get a bus shelter that's very much needed there. That's a highly trafficked area.
Right. Okay.
Ludlam
Let's go down.
Park, we
So
have a
then,
few
wait,
things
can we
left
just do
there.
these in order? So
Oh,
the
I'm
next one
sorry.
is North Sea Park Equipment. That's for that
That's what
park
we
you
just- yeah.
mentioned. All right, Iron Point Park ADA, so there's a playground?
The
ADA
entrance to the park is very difficult to navigate. I think it's been a problem for a long time. So we're going to try with the highway department. That might also have to be phased for 2 years, because I think it's an $80,000 project. So this will get us going, and then we'll put in again for next year to finish it up. And then that'll be a smooth entranceway with an ADA accessible area that people can get into the park. The park is in pretty good shape. I think the park is not a problem, so,
All right.
but we do want to be able to get there.
Ludlam Park, what are we doing there for 40,000?
Well, Ludlam Park, we're almost all done, and I did mention before that HUD came and did an audit, and they came to visit in person, and they were thrilled. They loved the park, they loved the playground, they loved the way it's looking. So now we have a couple of final things that have to be done, sidewalks and fencing to clean it up, and maybe the bathrooms, but I think they have a grant to do the bathrooms. So the park really looks beautiful, and I was very proud to bring HUD around and make them happy how they spent their money, because that means better for us for next time, and for the county as well, so.
So serious, unfortunately, you're gonna miss the ribbon cutting, but we will have it.
Okay, and then the 10,000 is code enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Is that the zombie program or?
Not really, that is for code enforcement officers, for overtime or any expenses they have patrolling our CDBG area.
The
So
whole
they can
area.
put an extra guy in, or give them extra hours to patrol, whether at night or on the weekends, and just enhance that quality of life code enforcement that is needed in those areas.
So the bulk of that spending is Flanders Riverside?
Yes.
About 3/4 or 2/3?
Yes, and well-deserved, because these are going to be great projects. I mean, we're actually seeing the wrap hopefully coming to life. and be able to do a lot for that community. It's going to be exciting.
Right, and then in terms of the NGOs, so that we have Catholic Charity, Catholic Home Care,
Yes.
5,000. They are, what group is that? Well, I know.
They help seniors at home with
Meals.
small, very senior-oriented for a lot of seniors that can't do things at home, that we don't provide other
It's
services.
not Meals on Wheels. This is
It's not
different.
Meals on
No,
Wheels, but
no.
they do
This
have
is like
home
little home
assistance.
aid things
Yeah.
that they need, maybe shopping or cleaning out a refrigerator, things that seniors a certain age are limited in doing so. Catholic Home Care comes in and helps with those small little things.
Okay.
Maureen's
I'm
Haven does
very
a lot of
familiar
our
with.
homeless for the winter.
Yes.
Sepa Mujer, as you see, gracias,
Sepa Mujer, we
saludos,
had at
thank you
least
for
4
all the
people
work you
speak
do.
On behalf of Sepa Mujer.
Yes.
CIMI, Children's Museum of the East End, 5,000. Is that for the programs in the?
Yes, Cantamos, yes, that's a program that they have for the children. And Heart of the Hamptons, you saw the presentation they made, which was very good. We hadn't given them in quite a few years, so I was happy because our allocation increased, we were able to add another agency. We can only expend a certain amount of our full allocation for these private not-for-profits. So we're limited, that's why.
Refresh my memory, what does Heart of the Hamptons do? What are?
Everything in the Hamptons, clothing, food drives, shelter, a lot of different services that they provide just for people in Southampton.
Charitable service.
Yes, all charitable.
Okay. All right, anybody have any other questions for Diana about the resolution? All right.
Yes,
so-
Diana, just for the public's edification, the community development block grant money is based on the amount of money that was spent the previous year. So it's important to spend. and have
Yes.
projects at the ready, which is
Right.
something that you've done to grow this.
Yes.
this, grant
And it is a
number.
federal
and
allocation. These are federal funds, they're not local funds, and they come through the county, who is the participating jurisdiction. But we'll try to pump it up as much as we can.
Okay, well done.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you all for your support for
Thank
these
you.
projects.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Thanks,
so we had a
Diana.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right.
Yay. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Walk-ons?
All right, yeah, we can add to the list. There's a few walk-ons before we go back to the top. All right. I'd like to make a motion to add 4 resolutions onto our agenda. The first is 32883. It's a 2019 notice to bidders for public bathroom cleaning. Then 32884, co-sponsored with Councilwoman Scalera. It's a 2019 notice to bidders for replacement parts for Chevrolet General Motors. 32885, being offered by Councilman Bouvier, 2019 reject bids. And second notice to bidders for Parks Maintenance Administration office relocation. And lastly, 32894 is warrant number 21, capital 21, CPF 21, and payroll liability. So, we'll make a motion to walk those 4 on.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Scalera, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, okay, they will be added to the end of our agenda. So let's start though at the beginning of our agenda with Resolution 1070 of 2019. It awards and authorizes the supervisor to sign a contract with Nelson and Pope for design and permitting of hybrid beacons.
Second.
This is for town ambulance company needs, seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1071 of 19 authorizes removal of toxic and hazardous materials at various locations.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1072 of 2019, authorization for the supervisor to sign First Amendment to a lease agreement with New York SMSA Limited Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless, for space on cell tower located at Old Riverhead Road in Hampton Bays.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Oh,
I'm sorry?
My bad.
I got 1073, awards and authorize supervisor to sign contract for liquid propane gas with Starlight Propane Gas Corporation.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution 1074 of 2019, authorize the supervisor to sign contract extension for furnish and deliver water meters to Hampton Bays Water District with T-Minute Supply Incorporated.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1075 and 19, authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Baseline Health Management LLC to provide comprehensive health physicals.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. Should we jump, you guys want to jump ahead? We have the gentleman from the Rayner Family Trust who's here. You want to take care of that so he doesn't have to wait all day?
Peter, you don't want to sit here?
She has to.
I have the addition
Oh, good.
to that amendment.
What resolution is that?
Page 36.
1101.
36. 36. Top of 36.
Page 36.
1101. All right, I'm gonna,
Page 36.
Yeah.
just give it to me for now. All right.
I
So,
said Ward 1812. Mentioning
were you all right?
All of it?
All right, so I'm making a motion to take 1101 of 2019 on page 36 out of order.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay, gonna make a motion to amend 1101, adding in 3 new whereas clauses and 1 resolve clause, so I'll read it. Whereas the Rayner family, no, the Rayner, is it Fish House? Is that what this says? The Rayner Fish House has been recognized as an historic structure
In the town of Southampton.
Maybe you want Lisa to read it.
Yeah.
by the town of Southampton Landmarks and Historic Districts Boards and by the town historian, and whereas both have recommended the retention of the fish house to further enhance the historic value of the surrounding community, and whereas the designated target area for those properties should include the historic properties and places target area, and the CPF management and stewardship plan should be amended so as to accurately reflect the property's attributes and facilitate its historic development, and so that the properties are accurately described in the CPF management and stewardship plan. And then this is the resolve clause, be it resolved that the target area of the town of Southampton owned CPF acquired parcels identified as Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-376-1-35.3 and 79.1 include the historic properties and places target preservation area, and the CPF management and stewardship plan is accurately described above.
So that's an additional resolved, in addition to the one that's
So let's
there.
just see where these are going. So why don't we do the 2 resolves before, the 2 whereases before the first resolve, and the resolve clause as the second resolve. Okay, so I will make a motion to amend as I just described.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Scalera. And now I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Cindy?
I'm gonna
Thank
let
you.
Lisa and Kim make sure that it's
Yes.
exactly
You
how
go over
you
that.
want it.
Approved.
They'll coordinate.
Congratulations.
As you
Thank
approved
you.
it.
We'll take good care of it, don't worry. As we do with all the properties entrusted to us. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing a little bit of the Rayner family history there, too.
Yes, there is.
Where are we now?
1077.
All right, so we're going back now.
Tommy John.
What page are we on?
11.
We ready?
No, did we
Yep.
do 1076?
Yes, we did that one. We took it out.
Oh, we
That was
took
taken
that one
out
out
of
of
Keep
order.
going this way.
Town Board Resolution 1077 of 2019 authorizes supervisor to execute a 2020 retainer agreement with Peter Johnson Esquire to provide tax credit associated services.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution
Approved.
1078, sorry, of 2019
I'm all right, too. Good.
authorize the supervisor to execute a 2020 contract with Tyler Technologies Incorporated to provide staff familiar with assessment, update, hearings, and small claims assessments against the town.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Resolution 1079 authorizes the supervisor to execute parks and recreation agreements for programs.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
180.
How far are we from the other one that Carrie is here for?
Probably about 5 minutes if we can stop talking.
Which one is it?
1099.
Page 30. What page?
32 to 34.
1090, which one?
At the bottom.
1099. Oh, Bridgehampton Road Races. Is that it? Are you here for only that one?
Yes.
All right. Oh yeah, let's take that out of order too. So I'll make a motion to take 1099, 2019 out of order.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. I'll make a motion to approve 1099.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. Any conversation? This is the roughly 2-acre property adjoining Golfit Bridge area and the Deepwater Recharge. In the Deepwater Recharge area. I think below market, bargain sale. So, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Did she leave before we voted?
Very
I think
confident.
she thought that it was,
She thought maybe taking it
I
out
think
of
she
order
thought that was the vote.
was the vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to surprise her?
It went down in flames.
You should have seen, it blew up.
All right. So we're back to
Page 15.
all right, page 15. Resolution 1080 of 2019, authorized supervisor to sign online subscription with Suffolk County Clerk's Office for online subscription to Clerk's Office records.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1081, authorizes the supervisor to execute 2019-2020 contract extension with Priority Dispatch for Town's Police Department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Scalera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1082 of 19, authorizes the Southampton Volunteer Ambulance to make budgetary changes to their 2019 budget.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
1083 is the 2019 notice to bidders for bulkhead replacement and dredging at Bay Avenue.
Second.
Seconded by
Oh, sorry.
Seconded by Councilwoman Mostat. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1084, amends the 2018 adopted budget for various departments. Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1085, amends the 2019 through 22 capital budget for parks equipment. Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1086, authorizes closure of capital projects.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1087, co-sponsored with Councilman Bouvier, accepts the resignation of Janice J. Young from the Landmarks and Historic Districts Board.
I'll second that, and I just want to say about Janice that we hope she stays involved. I know she's going through some things, but she's done incredible service to the Landmarks Board over the years, and we're going to miss her, so thank you for your service, Janice.
Yeah, I concur. She's been a great voice over there, so we'll miss her, but certainly we're thankful for all the service that she has provided. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 1088, authorized community preservation fund tax refund pursuant to first-time homebuyers exemption for Christopher Stantonon.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1089, authorized community preservation fund tax refund pursuant to first-time homebuyers exemption for Alexander N. Stipanov and Kai A. Wright.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1090 of 2019, authorized CPF tax refund pursuant to the first-time homebuyers exemption for Tomo F. Perez Chicho.
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's approved. 1091 of 19 establishes escrow account as it relates to the low-pressure fire flow water supply agreement in furtherance of the Canoe Place Inn Canal and Eastern Properties Maritime PDD.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 219-1092, installation of new street light in Hampton Bays.
Second.
This is at Road H
Mhm.
on Dune Road.
Yeah, it's been a while coming, but
Are we including the dimmer on that too? 'Cause
it should be LED, should be all the NIPA.
Or- You don't want to have too much light down there when you walk at night on the beach. But, okay, so seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. 1093, co-sponsored with Councilman Scavone. Resolution supporting the elimination of the South Fork Commuter Connection $1 shuttle bus fare surcharge.
Second, and on the motion,
Seconded by Councilman Scavone. On the motion?
that the train service has been kind of canceled from October 15th to yesterday. And that the trains are now running from Southampton east to East Hampton. So for those of you who are taking the train out to Bridgehampton and East Hampton and Amagansett in the morning, the trains are up and running. In East Hampton, the Long Island Railroad replaced 2 bridges, 2 overpasses. These are the ones that they brought in on barges and replaced. So that is done, and the upgrades have been made, and the train is now running, so you can get back on the train.
Councilman, it would be good if we could let the train riders know that the shuttle now, there's no charge for it, because a lot of them don't pay the extra dollar,
I agree.
and they don't use it. So now they continue to not pay the extra dollar, but now they actually can use it. So we probably should do some education on the train. Do you want to spearhead that?
I will.
Okay.
And this is going to start, the dollar, removal of the dollar is going to start on January 1st, so we do have some time. But in addition, the Long Island Railroad has created other ways of payment. You can buy a monthly ticket now or a weekly fare for the commuter connection, and you can also pay by the app as well. So I think those things should increase
good.
ridership. So
They
this
just
is
sent
the
out a public
second year.
notice too, so that's a good start.
Right, kind of ironing things out. You know, we have the first year under our belt, and we made some upgrades, so it's moving along. No pun intended.
Did I call the vote on that?
No.
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 All right, so seconded by Councilman Scavone. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Town Board Resolution 219-1094, temporary waiver of fees for the purchase of compost and mulch.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad. On the motion, so normally we charge $15 a yard to
For
commercial
Mhm.
companies to take the compost. We sell it, right, for $15 a yard. We give it away to homeowners, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So for a short period of time, we're also going to be giving it away to commercial contractors as
That's
well?
correct.
How long of a period?
We have to reduce our current inventory, and we're bringing in fall materials now, so the site is getting inundated as part of the registration process for the facility,
Have to see
meeting
no
DEC
longer
compliance.
Until further notice.
It says here, it shall remain in effect until it is no longer necessary as determined by the department head based on on-site material quantities, at which time the existing compost fee schedule shall be reinstated in full, and the controller is authorized to amend the 2019 budget, adopted budget as necessary.
So the issue here is that we have way too much material, organic material in particular. So we've got long windrows, it has to be turned, there's a lot of maintenance, we have way too much material. We also have to meet compliance with DEC's giving us some new conditions on which to, we have to put down some asphalt, we can't have leaching and, some of these things. So we need to get rid of that material as much as possible because we're also experiencing new material coming in. So the object here is to try to, this is an attempt to reduce the amount of materials that have come into that facility. And so as long as we can do that, that's the purpose of this.
Jim, should the resolution say the, as determined by the department or the town board, or we,
I mean, you can make it that way if you want, the board feels they want to have control control of that, as, you can have it as recommended by the department head?
Upon a resolution, further resolution of the town board.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's,
Our
it
recommendation.
becomes pretty obvious when you have to.
Determined by the town board upon recommendation of the department head.
That's fine.
All right, so just change it to motion to amend, to add that language, and we'll amend it first and then we'll approve it. So motion to amend to insert that language, as still changed by the town board.
Second.
So you made that motion to amend, I'll second the motion to amend, all in favor? Aye. All right, and now motion to approve as amended by Councilman Bouvier, and who wants to second that?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lofstad, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so approved as amended. 1095 of 19, it's 2019 standard workday and reporting resolution for appointed officials.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Schiavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 1096 and 19, accepts retirement of Kathleen Vanatsky, Public Safety Dispatcher 1 in the Police Department.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Scalero, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. 1097 appoints Walter Morsky of Vetere to Safety Officer position in the Department of Employee Safety Training.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Resolution 1098 is a notice of public hearing to accept a deed of residual fee from Joseph Zachary Gaza for property to be maintained as open space located at East Quad pursuant to Southampton Town Code 244-4 and 247 of the GML of the State of New York.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. The next one we did, so we go to, where are we, 1100? 219-1100 amends the Town of Southampton Community Preservation Project Plan and CPF Management Sewage Plan to include the Mahoney properties, Tuckahoe, and authorize acquisition.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman Lofstad. I don't know if, Lisa, do you want to thumb through that, or Jim, but on the motion, this was pretty wet. I think it has a tiny little piece attached to what looks like a developable, not an easy to develop lot. That's it.
This little tiny one
And then there's that big piece, which maybe somebody could try to get a house on. It might need some variances, but it certainly makes sense to add to that large block of open space that we have in that area, so I'm certainly gonna support it. Anyone else on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. 1101,
Did that
we
one.
did. That's later. 1102, there's a bunch of these transfers. I think they all make sense. This is 1102 of 2019, authorized transfer lands from Suffolk County, North Sea, and amends the CPF management and stewardship plan to include that property.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. We just have to slow down when we get to that, the one in Riverside. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. 1103, authorized transfer of lands of Suffolk County North Sea and amends the CPF management stewardship plan to include said property. Same second, same vote. If that's okay with everyone. 1104, John. Councilman Bouvier. 1104 of 19, authorizes.
Wait, did we vote on it?
same vote.
Okay.
Same vote? Can I do that?
If you opt in, opt
You have to
out.
do one at a time.
Is that too fast?
No, but when you say the same second, like the person has to second the resolution.
Not technically. If I said the same second, unless he objects.
When
The
you're
legislature,
within the
we,
same resolution,
it's,
we're here right
it could
now.
be, it could be
For our
assumed.
purposes.
No objection.
No objection. If you want, I will slow it down a little bit,
It's
okay?
sort of- yeah, it's sort of
We got
slowing down.
the legislature, that was
I'm
common
used to
procedure.
you saying it out loud.
Yes,
Jay.
so,
You've-
okay.
You've trained us.
I know, I was just going back to my legislative days. All right, 1104 of 2019, authorized transfer of lands from Suffolk County North Sea and amends the CPF management and stewardship plan to include said property.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. The ayes have it. All right, 11:05. This is the one in Riverside. So, I want to make a motion to amend this. Let's see how.
What do you want to do? You want to refer it to the water?
No, either we can table it, or we could,
You need to probably just table it, and then you can just change the fiscal impact to take it from a different part of the fund when you go ahead and do it.
can
It
we?
needs a review first before
Right, so you don't know.
yeah,
So
right.
table it for a couple weeks, and
Yeah,
then
we'll
if you
check on
decide
county
to do it.
There's
Like,
no
right-
urgency on
We'll also
this.
check
Right
with-
now, it's scheduled for acquisition from the main CPF fund for open
Yeah,
space
you
and
have to just
conservation,
change the
so
GL code.
if we're gonna do a
Can't
water
we just
quality
amend it to
project,
allow it to be acquired either way?
I think you have to
I
say
think
one
you
or the
have to
other.
say that. Their
One or the
meeting on
other.
this Thursday, right? So,
A week from Friday,
A
the
week from-
22nd, yeah.
okay.
So you have a meeting right after that.
But I also thought if it's not water quality, this could be a little pocket park.
Bless you.
What if we have the water quality board do the review, and then I can relay the information, and we can prepare prepare a final resolution for your next meeting?
The only thing that would concern me is that we didn't notice it for
Mm.
that, and we usually do, I mean, that's a whole separate thing when we open it up
Correct.
for, and somebody who might have spoken for on the water issue would not speak on the CPF, so it didn't show up, just
Right.
arguably, so
Mhm.
you really should
Right.
just table it, and then,
It's, where is
So
it?
you
in
might
the
have
to-
it's not a
you
might
contract.
have to
You might have to
renotice
renotice
it.
No,
No.
it's
so-
just gonna be a deed transfer.
Okay, so we don't, let's do
I
it
mean,
the
you
right
could,
way.
you could potentially buy this with non-CPF revenues for general municipal purposes. It's like $8,000, and then we'd have.
Do that,
and
then-
let's-
but that, again, that's a whole nother
You'd
hearing.
have to
Right,
renotice
You'd have to
renotice
it.
rehear it.
So we're thinking that this could be some kind
I
of
would just
booster
close this
station or
and
something
wait.
like that for a
Right,
future
Yeah,
sewage
just
district
don't
or
know.
some kind of municipal.
right, you might
There's
have
a
to do
potential,
a
it's just-
grinder pump, that would then move the sewage to the sewer district through, pumping station.
It may be the water quality board will just say, no, it makes no sense, particularly if it's as close to the water as I understand it is, so.
Right, well, why don't we have it reviewed
Just table
Uh,
on the
motion-
22nd, and then I'll come back to
I'll
you.
throw
If
my
we need to
motion to
renotice it, we'll
approve.
do that.
I'll change it to a motion to table till, what's the next meeting?
22nd, is that right?
that's the water quality meeting.
Oh, when is our next town board meeting?
26.
Six- oh,
11/26, but your meeting's not till the 27th?
22nd.
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 2-2.
All right, that works. All right, I'll make a motion to table to November 26th,
Second.
2018, second by Councilman Scalera, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we go to the red. Sit for the main packet. Oh, sorry.
Resolution 2019 is a notice to bidders for public bathroom cleaning.
Wait, what?
Oh, I read it 209, sorry. So it's ID 32883. 2019 notice to bidders for public bathroom cleaning, no?
Yeah, where's my... Sorry, hold on. All right, a motion, second by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. Now, docket number 32884, co-sponsored with Councilman Scalera, 2019 notice to bidders for replacement parts for Chevrolet General Motors.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Town Board Resolution ID 32885, 2019, reject bids and second notice to bidders for Parks Maintenance Administration Office relocation.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scavone, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. 32894, warrant number 21, capital number 21, CPF number 21, and payroll liability.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bouvier, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. That gets us to the end of the agenda. Is there any other business? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scalera, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.